This video is really part two of the last video, which is it's all about the money. Since we covered that really you should never ever bring up salary, sometimes even though you don't bring it up, the person interviewing you does bring it up. And so in this video, we're really going to cover how you should answer that question if the interviewer brings up this question about what are your salary expectations. And my initial advice is to deflect this question as much as you can. State something along the lines of that salary really isn't a priority for you and you're really looking to add value and grow with the company. If they don't let that go, you can answer again something along the lines of, I'm really looking for the right job for me that fits my skill set, that I can add value. You can also turn that question around and say, what is the salary range for this position? And those all sound good. There are interviewers that will not let that go and will answer your question with, it's competitive and based on a lot of factors, your experience level and things like that. What is your salary expectation? Once you've deflected it a couple times, you've really got to give them an answer. And you're kind of stuck in giving them the answer. There are some videos that recommend you say, well, I have to do some more research on that. I would not recommend answering anything like this because it really sounds like you're unprepared for the interview. Before you do go on an interview, again, you should never bring up salary. And to the greatest extent possible, you should deflect this question and not give a number. However, there are some interviewers who will not let you ride with one of these deflection answers. So you've got to give an actual range. So I would recommend you go out, and there's plenty of websites out there. Salary.com is one where you can look up what the position is, as well as where it's located and get a salary range for that position. If you're forced into doing it, I would recommend you answer something to the effect of a salary range that I would consider is, and give them a fairly large salary range. And again, you can look that up on salary.com. But say that it depends on a lot of other things. And that way you're not stuck with that salary when it comes down to negotiation. Again, to the greatest extent possible, you should avoid answering that question and see if you can get away without giving a specific number. Because as we covered in part one of this video, sooner or later they have to give you a salary range, and then really you start negotiating from that range rather than attempting to negotiate from whatever range you're doing. We also covered in the last video all the risks involved in giving a number. Another way that some interviewers try to get around this question of salary expectations is to ask you what you're currently making now. And then they can assume that you're going to want a bump up from that, and that's all fine unless you're making very little right now. I have seen some videos that say that you should increase whatever your current salary is. I can't emphasize enough not to do that. If they ask you what you're currently making, you almost have to answer them and answer them accurately. And I say this because if they call up the company that you're currently working for and call up HR, HR will give them your current salary range. And if you're currently making 45 and you say you're making 55, then right then I know you lied to me and on something that's easily checked. And I'm not going to hire you because you lied to me in the interview process. So if you do get asked that question, you've got to give them an accurate answer because that is a figure. They will give the dates of your employment, your current position, as well as your salary range. So those things you should not even deviate a little bit from because they can check those things. We've gone over the salary in parts one and part two of this. If you like these videos, please subscribe below And if you have any other questions you'd think I should make a video on, please leave a recommendation below.